So we're taking a trip over to the States. We're heading over to the West Coast in the Los Angeles area, and we're going to be running the metro services from LA to Oceanside. Tornado 60163, yes, in fact I have 3 of them. There is maybe 4 of them. There's the LNER Apple Green, BR Brunswick Green, Grey, Primer, photographic grey, and the Express Passenger Blue, which is the one that's more recently held. Probably one of my favourite ones, actually. This is an F59PH locomotive, and sitting here in Los Angeles Station with the Bombardier bi-level, put my teeth back in, byliner coaches. Good morning, engineer. Let the passengers on board before you depart for West Norwalk. So the F59PH is actually very, very similar to the SD60M. The main difference is that this one, if you'll notice, has got what they call bow trucks. They're 2-axle, 4-wheel, whereas the SD60M, similar with all SD locos, is co-trucks, so 3-axle, 6 wheels. Other than that, it's essentially the same locomotive. The cab is certainly identical. All passengers on board, hightail it to West Norwalk and your other scheduled stops on the way to Fullerton. Okay, so we're not going all the way to Oceanside. So typical with a lot of American locos, this one has got a combined handle with where the bottom half is actually a dynamic brake. Just backing off on the throttle there because I couldn't see the permission to proceed, but there we go, there's the green light. Just sneaking out underneath the platform, so we're good to depart from Los Angeles. It's quite an interesting little ride out of Los Angeles because we're heading, I think, north at the moment, and we turn basically into a U-turn and then follow the LA Canal. And if you've ever watched Core, the film called Core, at the beginning of the film there's a bit where a pilot, space shuttle pilot, crash lands the space shuttle into the LA Canal. It's this particular canal that we're going past at the moment. Although you won't see the space shuttle landing in the trains inversion of the game, strangely enough. Yeah, it's those rail fans, Kimmy. They get all over the place for the perfect photograph. I'm nervous being outside the cab these days, just because safety alarms go off, you don't know, and the train comes to a screeching halt. Alright, we're in a 25 limit now, so we can bring the speed up a little bit. So there's that canal I was talking about, sort of a waterless canal. So first stop is at West Norwalk, which is in 15 miles. So I've got a bit of a trek. Oh, we're in 35 limits, so we can speed up a little bit. Oh, and I just got an achievement, presumably because I've driven a particular number of miles in this loco. Yay me! Green light at the top, clear for the main line. And we're also now clear for 45 miles per hour running, so let's get sped up. Interesting speed limit coming up, 79 miles per hour. That's actually completely accurate, and the reason is because above 79 miles per hour, 80 miles per hour and above, there are different rules and regulations, so they run them right up to 79 miles an hour so that they don't have to do that. That's it, now we're in the 79 mile per hour area. We can crank up the speed a bit. Green light in front of us, so we're clear to go. And the line heads this way for a little bit longer, and then we'll be taking the it'll turn left over to the east. We're heading south at the moment. Yes, it would have been great to put them out with the right liveries and the right names, but sadly, licensing is important. We must respect the copyrights of other companies, and unfortunately, we weren't able to get the licensing arranged for these products in time. So that's why they went out like this. I'd still much rather have the products than not. They're still good fun to drive, and they add a lot of operational variety to the Pacific Surfliner route, both the northern half and the southern half. .44 mile per hour speed limit coming up as we hit the flyover for turning east. Here comes another train coming in the other direction, which is driven by the cab car. It always looks a bit strange with the train being driven with the loco at the other end, but that's also quite an interesting feature of these locos, trains. Sorry. Running the amps in the red at the moment to get up this hill, and we're still slowing down. That's not good. Hey Trappy, welcome back to the channel. Good to see you again. Got a 40 limit on the as we come down to the bottom of this flyover, so we just need to watch that and brake accordingly. Oh, but Hunter, I want to blow my horn. Alright then, I won't. Just for once in my life, I'll try and do a good job. Kimmy, do diesels in this game also do the thing where you have to pre-pressurize the brakes before applying them? Basically, in the game they start out all fully pressurized, and so you don't have to wait for them to pressurize. But if you make applications of the race, so if you're in a North American train, like one of our products, Canadian Mountain Passes or the North Southern Coal District, if you've got a sort of an 80 wagon train and you apply the brakes and release them, it can take quite some time for the brake pipe to recharge its pressure again. With certainly going down Canadian Mountain Passes at 2.5% grades, can make for interesting times if you happen to get the brakes wrong and decide, wouldn't it be nice if I could release the brakes and speed up a little bit? And of course you release the brakes and then you can't really reapply them again for some time until everything's recharged, otherwise you're not going to get full application, run out of air, and then you're a runaway train unless you hit your emergencies, which no one wants. Right, we're back into a 79, so let's drop some more speed on, get sped back up and get past. So over on the left is Hobart Yard, which is a major freight terminal, primarily operated by BNSF. It's also home to some interesting locomotives called gensets, which are super efficient. They're basically like 4 truck or lorry engines, and it fires them up as it needs them, so it's only ever using the power it needs. So it's a hell of a lot more efficient. This thing seems to have a what the American engineers would call an alerter, which is basically the same as the VSD in the UK trains. Pops up if you don't operate controls, but it doesn't seem to have a sound for it, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Just passing the 10-mile mark to get to West Norwalk, so we're getting there. Looks like we've got green signal still, good to go. Yeah, Hunter, I've had a couple of other viewers educating me on that. I was actually aware of it, I'm just very bad at doing it. But thanks for the feedback.